What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the SchuZ Show. Hope you guys are having a phenomenal Friday. And if you guys are tuning in maybe on Saturday, hopefully you guys are off to a great start on your Saturday as well. But with that being said, I just want to get into a few things on today's show before we head off into the weekend. So I'm going to be getting into a fight preview or recap of what went down last night in the Mikaela Mayer versus Mary Spencer fight card. Then I'm going to be transitioning into a fight preview of the Joshua Buatsi versus Zach Parker fight card going down. Then we're going to wrap it up with some boxing news that's been coming out over the past 24 hours. So make sure to stay tuned for all of that. And as always, if there are any comments, topics, questions, debates, whatever you guys want me to address on today's show, leave it in the chat and I'll have those comments pop up on the screen and we'll go from there. But let's get right to it though. Fight recap, Mikaela Mayer versus Mary Spencer was a top-ranked midweek fight card going down to that happened last night. And it was a good fight. Mikaela Mayer did her thing. She became a 3-division world champion, unified the belts. Absolutely phenomenal job by her. And this is something that we're going to look at now. And let's just be honest. She deserves some more respect on her name. Phenomenal performance. Now moves up to 154, super welterweight, gets the job done. Absolutely a phenomenal job by Mikaela Mayer. Now the big question is this. Go for Undisputed. That has to be the only fight left right now. Go for Undisputed. I think we all want to see Mikaela Mayer do that. She is ready for that. She is a phenomenal fighter. Go for Undisputed. That's what she needs to do. Then let's go into this next topic, and this is in regards to the undercard on that card. Wilkins Matu fighting Shaquille Pin. This was a fight that I said keep an eye on. It was a very intriguing matchup. I honestly did think Shaquille was going to come out victorious in this fight. I was wrong. Wilkins Matu comes out, unanimous decision, 98-91, 98-91, 99-90 on the scorecards. Beautiful performance. And all I can say right now is this. Wilkins Matu is a guy to keep an eye on. This was supposed to be someone that was going to be challenging for him. He was going to go 10 rounds in this fight. It was going to be a little bit more difficult, people expected, push him a little bit, and yet he comes out and you can make a legitimate case that he did not lose a single round in this fight. That was phenomenal. Penn is a guy that we look at as a solid veteran fighter at the mix right there, and Wilkins Matu took care of business right there. This is a man that we need to keep an eye on because he is the real deal. He is legit. We got to keep an eye on him because he's an up-and-coming prospect. Then Artur went out there and fought Sergey Lipnitz, and he had a great performance. Now, Lipnitz had a very severe eye issue going on in the fight. It was very evident that he got hurt pretty badly in the eye, but nonetheless, he lost the fight. 96-93, 97-92, 99-90 on the scorecards. All over the place on the scorecards. Artur Biaslavnov had a great performance. He beats the former world champion in Lipinets. Mehet Unal TKO round 1 against Rouse Valcons. And then Christopher Guerrero. He had a 10-round unanimous decision against Williams Andreas Herrera, exactly according to plan. The scorecards read this: 97-93, 98-92, 99-91. Another young prospect to keep an eye on. I thought he looked phenomenal in this showing as well. Now let's head over and get into a fight preview. Going down tomorrow is we have another fight card going down in the UK, headlined by Joshua Buatsi and Zach Parker. Light heavyweight showdown. This is a fight that I'm really ecstatic for. I like Zach Parker. I think he's a good rising fighter. But I really, really like Joshua Buatsi. And I think we look back. He had an incredible fight earlier this year, a fight of the year candidate against Callum Smith. And in that performance, he lost. It is what it is. But that does not mean Joshua Buatsi's done. And I feel like he's lost a little bit of the hype that we had built up for Joshua Buatsi. And, quite frankly, I'll be honest, I don't know why. Callum Smith, you could make a debate, is the third or fourth best fighter at 175 right now, which is a loaded division. That's not a bad loss. Joshua Buatsi is a very good fighter, and I think he's going to prove against Zach Parker, which, unfortunately for Zach Parker, a man who is very talented, a guy who I do think has a bright future, but Joshua Buatsi is a legitimate guy, a man that I could see become world champion down the road. Now, 175 is very, very tough to crack into, but I could see that happening down the road for himself. And so Joshua Buatsi, Zach Parker, headline the fight card going down tomorrow. I'm ecstatic for this fight. I think we're going to see a Joshua Buatsi masterclass, but it's not going to be easy. Zach Parker is a legitimate fighter. I cannot stress that enough. It's just that Joshua Buatsi is somebody that I am extremely high on. Brad Rhea fighting Lyndon Arthur for Rhea's European light heavyweight title. Sticking with the light heavyweight division, Lyndon Arthur is one of those top contenders kind of in the mix right now, and he fights Brad Rhea, who is the European champion, and this is a good fight for Lyndon Arthur, someone who I said after his last fight, is it maybe time to move on? You've accomplished a lot of great things. I don't think you're going to become world champion again, but here is an interesting opportunity for him. He gets to go fight for the European light heavyweight title. I think this is going to be Lyndon Arthur's last hurrah. If he can go out there and win this fight against Brad Rhea, which I do have him as the favorite heading into this fight, he becomes European champion. All of a sudden, he's going to have a victory on his win, column, he's going to have the European light heavyweight title to his name, and he'll be back in position for another big payday, at least to some extent payday. And so Lyndon Arthur, really, his career is really hanging by the balance right now in this fight. If he loses the fight, I don't see him returning back to the ring again. If he wins it, I think he has his chance to go fight one or two more times in his career to finish out with another couple of nice paydays. But I do favor Lyndon Arthur. Then Liam Cameron returns against Troy Jones at another light heavyweight fight. Liam Cameron coming off of the loss to Ben Whittaker. However, obviously, Ben Whittaker was much improved in that second fight. But the first one, Liam Cameron, you could make a very good case, could have come out and emerged victorious in the fight against Ben Whittaker, who is one of the top prospects, not just at light heavyweight, but all boxing. So I'm ecstatic to see Liam Cameron back in the ring again. I think he's going to get an easy win against Troy Jones. We're going to head over to the America stateside, where Lenier Pero, he's fighting Jordan Thompson, a heavyweight showdown going down in Orlando with a matchroom card. I think Lenier Pero will win this fight, although I do think this is a lot closer to a 50-50 fight than some people are crediting. Amari Jones, he's going to be making his return against Me Too, who is a super welterweight fighter. This is another opportunity for Amari Jones to get back in the ring, stay active. Also, Yolevis Gomez fighting Ontravius Ingram. Pat Brown, another young prospect in the Matchroom Stablehouse, fighting Felix Valera, cruiserweight. Keep an eye on this fight. Felix Valera just fought Tristan Kalkaruth a little bit ago and gave Tristan a very tough battle. Tristan's now ranked inside the top 15. He's a very good cruiserweight. If Pat Brown can go out there and make a statement against this man, it's going to show that this man is ready to make it the next jump and possibly be a top 15 type fighter. So very, very intriguing fight right there. Nishant Dev fighting Juan Carlos Campos, super welterweight fighter right here. Nishant Dev has been on the show before. Great young up-and-coming prospect and fighter. He will be making his return to the ring as well. Another fight that's notable, Rashidi Ellis will be returning to the ring as Javier Fontoura. So that's a fight to keep an eye on as well. So those are the fight breakdowns for this weekend. But we got a lot of stuff to get into on boxing as well. But yes, this is a packed weekend to go watch boxing this weekend. Let's head into some boxing news. So I talked about it on yesterday's show briefly, and that was in regards to Fabio Wardley versus Moses Itauama. And it was in regards to the fact that that fight could be ordered if Usyk is unable to fight early next year. I gave my thoughts a little bit on it, but then I started thinking more about it. And I came to this conclusion. I would love to see Joseph Parker rematch Fabio Wardley. And I think the best business decision for Fabio Wardley now is to turn that opportunity down and go take the Alexander Usyk fight. But if I'm going to be a little bit selfish for a moment, and I'm going to look at what's the best for the sport of boxing, what is the best, most entertaining fight? There is no fight I would rather see Fabio Wardley get involved in outside of a fight against Moses Itauama. And I get it. Same stable, same trainers. Make it happen. You have to understand the heavyweight division right now is dying right now. We have a lot of good fights happening, but there's not a lot of depth. We need more big fights in the heavyweight division. Fabio Wardley, Moses Itauama is the fight to make. I want to see it. And you have to think about it. These are two domestic guys. You can sell a great stadium inside of the UK somewhere. I don't know. It won't be Wembley, but it could be one of those type of stadiums. You sell a stadium, incredible environment. It's going to sell phenomenally. People around the world would want to tune in for that fight for many reasons. One, you're talking about two of the top 10 heavyweights in the world. Two, it's a domestic fight, which would be huge. And then thirdly, this would be a fight that just signifies which one of these two guys are actually ready to try giving Alexander Usyk a run for his money. I personally don't think there's a man in boxing right now that can compete with Usyk. But the winner of this fight would have the rights to go fight Alexander Usyk without a shadow of a doubt. And you have to imagine this. For Itauama, the big question mark is this. Can he fight any of the top guys? We don't know it yet. We believe he can, but we don't know it. If he beats Fabio Wardley, that's definitive. For a Fabio Wardley standpoint, yes, his resume is a little bit sketchy. The Joseph Parker win is incredible on that resume. But if he can back that up with a win over Moses Itauama, we're looking at a position now where that Usyk fight versus Wardley becomes 10 times more significant because people look at it and say, okay, maybe, just maybe, Wardley can do something to Usyk. Now, it's not going to happen. I think Usyk demolishes everybody in the heavyweight division. But from a promotional standpoint, you can promote it a little bit easier. So yes, in my eyes, we need Fabio Wardley versus Moses Itauama. I don't care about the trainer situation. Someone put the money down and make the fight happen. WBA is inclined to grant PULEV his exception. Here's the exact report. The WBA initially ordered Kubrat Pulev to defend his regular title against Moses Itauama. However, when they did so, Pulev had already signed to fight Murat Gasav in December. The WBA has now said that they are inclined to sanction a Pulev Gasav bout should Pulev file a special permit request. the ruling would delay PULEV's mandatory commitment against Itauama. All right, it is what it is. I honestly don't care. And here's why. This is not for the World Championship. It's for the regular belt. And for the WBA, as I've been very vocal about many times in the past, they have way too many belts. It's gotten to a point where it's just absolutely ridiculous. We keep on having 3, 4 champions, whatever you want to call it, with the WBA. Pathetic. So if we're going to be honest, I don't even know why Moses Itauama would have to go fight this man to begin with. Go have a bigger fight. Just talk about it. Go make the Fabio Wardley fight happen. Go make bigger fights happen. We don't need to play these games with all these commissioning bodies and their outlandish money-grabbing belts. So from my standpoint, nobody really wants to see PULEV fight Moses Itauama. Literally nobody. Let PULEV do whatever the heck he wants to do. Itauama go make a bigger fight happen, and we move on. Not a big deal. Here's a little bit of controversial take I'm going to give you guys, and that's regarding INOUE versus PICASSO. It's on pay-per-view in Japan. Here's what's interesting. INOUE has not fought on pay-per-view since 2021. Now, he's with Riyadh Season and Turkey Al-Sheikh for this upcoming card. Phenomenal card. Not going to crap on the card one bit. I love the card. I think it's has a chance to be the most entertaining card of the year. But INOUE Super Bantamweight title defense against David PICASSO on December 27th will be streamed live on Lamina pay-per-view in Japan at a price of around $32. So, I'm not a big fan of that. I think when you talk about INOUE, this man sells phenomenally. He is one of the biggest domestic names in any area around the world. When he fights in Japan, he's selling it out. No doubt. He always puts on a show and he sells out great. You're taking him away from Japan to go fight in Saudi Arabia. Not a big deal. It is what it is. But now you're going to make the people have to pay pay-per-view. I think it's ridiculous. At some point in time, we have to hold these people accountable. Japan doesn't have a lot of pay-per-view events. Turkey gets involved, now it's pay-per-view. And what's baffling about this is that Turkey Al-Sheikh gave us a statement all along saying, you know what, I'm going to get rid of pay-per-view. And yet, all we're seeing is more and more pay-per-views. Remember a couple years ago when DAZN came out and said that they're going to be done with pay-per-view events? And here we are, it's still going on. It kind of gives me a little bit of a remembrance of that now, Turkey. And I don't want to crap on Turkey because I do like what he's doing for boxing overall. But this pay-per-view thing he's doing is ridiculous, especially when you say one thing, you do the other. People remember what you say. It's a social media age. We're in 2025. Why? Why are we doing this? Stop with the pay-per-view stuff. Make fights accessible to everybody. And especially, don't be going to other countries and now making them do the pay-per-view situation. Absolutely ridiculous in my eyes. Raymond Muratalla, his first IBF lightweight title defense is now officially set. He will face Olympic gold medalist Andy Cruz on January 24th in Las Vegas at the Fontainebleau in a high-stakes showdown. Beautiful matchmaking. We knew this fight was going to happen now over the past week or two. It's official. January 24th, Las Vegas, Fontainebleau. Great fight. I'm glad they made the fight happen. I'm glad he did not vacate. This is the fight we want to see. I think it's going to be a phenomenal fight. Great matchmaking right there, and this is going to be a good one. We have a little bit more clarity on what Dana White's plans are for his Zuffa boxing. Here it is. Dana White expects to sign 200 professional boxers for his Paramount deal. Intriguing. There's already been a few names. Vito Melnicki is the biggest one that comes to mind, but there have been names starting to trickle out that's been agreed upon deals with Zuffa Boxing. And I'm ecstatic for this. I think Zuffa Boxing is going to be huge for developing the brand and financial stability of many of these young fighters. I know there's a lot of controversy behind them, but look at the facts. I already have a video posted on my YouTube channel about what he's doing. Go check that out if you haven't seen it already. What he's doing right now is going to be good for a lot of the development. Now, is his plan going to work when you're talking about the world champions, the top 10 ranked contenders, those type of guys? I don't know. I'm a little bit more skeptical on that. But in terms of young prospects getting an opportunity for money, showtime, TV time, brand growing, all those aspects, it's phenomenal. It's going to do great things for them. And so I think we're going to see a lot of young fighters go with Zuffa Boxing coming out of this when they turn pro, or even young guys that are still working their way up the rankings. Here's an interesting news right now that came out. Netflix and reps for Jake Paul have been exploring potential replacements for Gervonta Tank Davis. Sources familiar with the situation told Sports Illustrated. Paul Davis, scheduled for November 14th, is in limbo after new allegations of domestic violence against Davis. All right, I'm going to just rip into this real quickly. What a shame for Gervonta Tank Davis. If you know me, I'm not going to stand up for anybody that does any form of domestic violence. You touch a woman, you're in trouble, and I don't think you should have. I think a lot of your rights should be taken away. That's my own opinion. Might be a little bit strong, but I'm sick of this stuff. Absolutely ridiculous. And I get it. Tank Davis has been excused or pardoned of a lot of these different situations. I'm also the firm stance of saying you're innocent until proven guilty. Here's the problem. If you are going to be involved in accusation after accusation after accusation over and over again, and you've already been guilty of other stuff in the past, you have to start realizing that, guess what? For most people in the world, they are not racking up accusation after accusation. That means two things are true. One of which, you are in the wrong crowd with the wrong women and the wrong people. Or two, you are the wrong person. I don't know what the answer is, but I do know that we see endless amounts of boxers and athletes avoid domestic violence cases. They don't even get any of them. They're not involved in those things. So why is it that for some reason you are going to be involved in this over and over and over again? When there is smoke, there's fire. And I'm not saying he's guilty of what just came out recently. But what I am going to say is that at some point in time, you have to grow up. I've already given my thoughts on Tank Davis in terms of the way he handles his legacy. And I gave him the excuse for this fight, massive payday with Jake Paul. I'm not going to fault the man for taking on $50 or $60 million. I'm not. However, the fight still is not what we wanted. We wanted to go fight Shakur Stevenson. But let's go in the bigger picture. Like, I'm sick of this boxing stuff. It is what it is. You have to get yourself in check. Tank Davis was God-gifted with the ability to be one of the best fighters of this entire generation, specifically in America. He should have been the face of American boxing, and although he was, he's been a horrible man at doing so. This is a dirtbag in the way he acts right now, and there's no excuse about what he does. There should be zero tolerance or acceptance of a man that does what he does. You lay a hand on a woman, you have to be accountable for that. It's ridiculous. And to see this man get in trouble over and over again, when you had all this God-gifted ability, why? Who is in your corner to get you set right? It's ridiculous. You should not be involved in this over and over and over again. And here we are once again. You might even be getting to the point where you're going to throw away $50 or $60 million. The only reason you took this fight was because of the money. The entire fight is bogus. No boxing fan wants to watch Jake Paul and Tank Davis fight. You took it for the money. I said, you know what? Go ahead. Take your money and go on with it. I'm not going to fault a man for taking $50 or $60 million. But now you can't control yourself outside of the ring and you're going to possibly even lose this amount of money you have. What are we doing? It is just an absolute shame that we have somebody with so much God-given ability throw it down the drain again for whatever Tank Davis is doing. It's sad. It genuinely is sad. And so, yes, now, according to the sources from Sports Illustrated, this is from Chris Mannix who have reported this, and now many other sources have also backed this up. It appears that Netflix and MVP Promotions is looking for backup plans. They'd have to move quickly. We're about 2 weeks out from this, literally 2 weeks out to the day. They'll have to move quickly on getting this fight date locked in. I don't know who you're going to have turn out. I'm sure Jake Paul can figure something out quickly, but still, unfortunate situation and just embarrassing from Tank Davis because I'm going to look at this from the bigger picture. I like boxing, but at the end of the day, the protection of women is much more important in my eyes. And when we have a scumbag the way he acts in Tank Davis, can't tolerate this stuff anymore. It's ridiculous. Last thing on today's show, unless any more comments want to come up in the chat, is this. It is official. Emanuel Navarrete, Eduardo Sugar Nunez will meet in an IBF and WBO super-featherweight unification fight on March 7th, 2026 in Phoenix, Arizona. The ring has learned. This bout will be between the two Mexican champions and will stream live on DAZN. Mega news. Big fight coming out to my hometown in Phoenix, Arizona. A Mexican showdown between two very entertaining Mexican-style fighters, Sugar Nunez, Navarrete. The face-off happened after Sugar Nunez's last fight, his first title defense he had, and we all said, what's going on with Charlie Suarez? We don't have the details yet in regards to what the exact step-aside contract is for Charlie Suarez, but it appears with this fight getting announced now that Suarez has announced that he is going to take the step aside, and we now are in position where we will have Sugar Nunez, Navarrete. I said it recently. I get it. I wanted to see Charlie Suarez get an opportunity again. He deserved it because he did win that fight against Navarrete. But from a business standpoint and entertainment standpoint, Navarrete Sugar Nunez is a much bigger and better fight. And I think this will be an incredible showdown to kick it off in March 7th in Phoenix, Arizona. This is a banger right here. When we talk about two guys that are fun, exciting fighters that are going to go to war for however long the fight lasts, this is what you want. Arizona's got a large Latin population right now, so it's going to be an incredible atmosphere. This is exactly the right place to place it at. Incredible fight to get made, and it is official though that yes, Nunez, Navarrete, unification, March 7th, 2026, Phoenix, Arizona, live on DAZN. Big time fight right there. With that being said though, I don't see any more comments in the chat, so I'm going to be wrapping up today's show with that right there. I hope you guys all have a blessed weekend. Enjoy all the fights that go down this weekend. I'll see you guys back live on Monday. May God bless you guys all. Enjoy the rest of you guys' Friday. God bless you guys all. And with that being said, SchuZ out. God bless y'all.